All right. So today, while we're on the road, I thought we'd have a proper chat about something people ask me all the time. Is moving to Australia really a good idea? It's a fair question. From the outside, Australia seems like one big postcard. Beaches, wildlife, sunshine. And honestly, a lot of that is true. But there's also plenty you only learn once you're actually living here. I've been here for over 8 years now. Long enough that the first wave of excitement wore off, and I got to see Australia for what it really is. Beautiful, challenging, and a little odd in places. When I first arrived, the thing that hit me immediately was just how easy everyday life can be here. Things are organized, roads are decent, though you'll see me complain about potholes from time to time. Bureaucracy is there, but it's nothing compared to some other places. Even paying bills is simpler than I expected. Healthcare was another thing that made me breathe a little easier. I grew up in a country where getting sick meant worrying about money. Here, if you're eligible for Medicare, you know you can see a doctor or go to a public hospital without that stress. Sure, there are wait times, and yes, extras like dentistry will absolutely empty your wallet if you don't have insurance. I once paid over $200 just for a basic cleaning. You'd think they were polishing them with gold. Safety is another huge plus. When I first moved, I remember going for walks at night and feeling a little nervous at first, just out of habit. But over time, I realized most people here feel pretty secure. It's not crime-free, obviously, but there's a general sense of safety that's hard to overstate. Now, work opportunities were a big reason I stayed. Australia's economy is solid. Even if you're not in some high-powered corporate role, there are well-paid trades, services, all kinds of paths. Wages are generally high compared to many countries. Of course, the catch is that the cost of living is equally ambitious. Groceries can be pricey, and don't get me started on haircuts. I used to justify the cost by calling it an investment in my confidence. Now I just sigh and hand over my card. And speaking of expenses, housing. Rent can be eye-watering, especially in major cities. I remember looking for my first apartment and thinking, so, does the rent include gold-plated taps? It didn't, unfortunately. Even buying is tough for a lot of people. It's a reality you have to plan for. But let's talk about something positive, because honestly, even with those costs, you get a lifestyle that's hard to match. Australia is genuinely beautiful in that understated natural way. Long stretches of empty beach, forests that smell like eucalyptus. Even on days when everything goes wrong, you can take a walk and realize you're in a place that millions of people dream about visiting. And the weather, it's diverse. I live in Melbourne, so I get all 4 seasons in a day. Some people complain about it. I actually kind of like the drama. Up north, it's tropical and steamy. And in the middle, dry as anything. There are bushfires, flooding, the usual extremes. But honestly, that's becoming normal in a lot of places, thanks to climate change. Now let's talk about people. Australians have this calm, friendly politeness. Lots of please and thank you, even from complete strangers. I remember bumping into someone in a supermarket aisle and apologizing, only for them to say sorry too. We both laughed and went our separate ways. It's small, but it makes daily life nicer. And here's the honest part, it wasn't easy making friends at first. That was the big surprise for me. I come from a place where meeting people is instant. You share food, you get invited over the same day. Here, it took time. People often have established social circles from school or work, and they don't necessarily go looking for new connections. I remember my first year at university here. I tried hanging around after class to chat, and everyone just packed up and left with a quick, bye. I went home that day feeling pretty down. It wasn't personal, just cultural. I realized pretty quickly that if I wanted friends, I'd have to make an effort. I ended up joining clubs, attending events, even saying yes to things I wouldn't normally. Eventually, it worked. I met people I now consider family. But if you're thinking about moving here, it's good to know you might have to be the one to make the first move. The multicultural side of Australia is honestly one of my favorite things. You can meet people from literally everywhere. I hadn't even tried Vietnamese food before coming here. Now it's one of my comfort meals. Walking through parts of Melbourne or Sydney feels like a tour of the world's cuisines. It opens your mind in the best way. But then there's the question of where you live. Australian cities are interesting that way. The central areas are vibrant, cafes, nightlife, lots of people around. But move even a little bit out and it's classic suburbia. Big houses, quiet streets. It's perfect for families who want space, but it can feel isolating if you're used to busy city life. I grew up in a dense city where neighbors chatted from their balconies. Here, I can go days without seeing anyone on my street. And you really do need a car. Public transport is fine in the city centers, but once you're in the suburbs, it can get tricky. Cycling infrastructure is, let's call it a work in progress. I tried cycling once. Between the highways and the lack of dedicated lanes, I decided walking was safer for my sanity. People always ask about the wildlife. Honestly, it's not like kangaroos are waiting to ambush you in the CBD. In cities, you're more likely to see possums in your bins than anything deadly. Yes, there are spiders, but they're mostly harmless house guests. If you go camping in the outback, sure, be cautious. But everyday urban life isn't exactly a David Attenborough documentary. Homesickness is the part no one really warns you about. I went back home recently and realized my parents are getting older. It hits you that you're missing so many small moments. That's not unique to Australia. It's just the reality of moving far away. It's something to consider carefully. And yet, despite the challenges, I wouldn't trade it. Australia has given me so much. Education, work opportunities, new friends, even citizenship. It's where I built my adult life. It's not perfect. No country is. But it's a place where, if you're willing to adapt, you can make a real home. So if you're thinking about making the move, I hope this gives you something to think about. It's not just the beaches and cute wildlife. It's also learning to be patient with yourself as you adapt, budgeting carefully, and putting in the work to build connections. If you're already living here, I'd love to hear your experience too. What did you find hardest? What surprised you? What do you absolutely love? Leave a comment and share your story. And if you enjoyed this little driving chat, feel free to subscribe for more honest, thoughtful looks at life in Australia. Thanks for keeping me company on the road. Until next time.